Zelda month, we're going to do top 10 bosses. These are my opinions of my favorite top 10 bosses.
Caretaker Gamer, oh thank goodness I found you. Please, you're our only hope. We need you to stop the moon from falling again, please.
Wait, wait. Slow down. And wait a minute, I thought you died. What the hell? Where have you been? What the hell are you doing, man? Like, what is this? It's like, oh, okay, now I see.
You know how it works.
What the hell?
You play the game. You know how it works. We need your help. You're our only hope. It's gonna keep falling and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and falling and crashing and coming up again.
You won't let me, live in peace. But now I have to always save the world every time we review a game now?
We need you to review this game finally. Complete your review. Please, let everyone know, is this really worth it? Is this game good enough? We need to know. We need to know, Caretaker Gamer. And you must complete it, or else the moon will keep crashing.
Okay, I get it. I'll go play this. This and the 3DS version. Just because I don't want to die this time. And also, I don't remember, so I don't know why I'm doing this. Okay. Well, it's that time again to do another Is It Really That Good or Bad? This time we're going to take a look at The Legend of Zelda Majora Mask for the N64. It also came out on the 3DS a few years ago. I think a little longer than that by this point, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But you know what? Let's see if this game really stands the test of time as one of the best Zelda games out there. I know I already missed Zelda month technically, but I don't remember the moon falling, so let's just try this again, and hopefully this time the moon won't kill us all. And then we all forget somehow. Okay, let's just put this in right now! Majora Mask is actually a very special game for me. The first time I actually ever heard about it was through a Toys R Us VHS tape that I got. Here's a little bit of it.
Want some great entertainment this holiday? Head on down to Toys R Us. While you're there, you can check out the great new games coming from Nintendo. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the N64 is coming October 26th. Some consider it a sequel to the greatest video game ever. Others claim that it's much better than the original. Let's talk with the experts at Nintendo.
Being a sequel to the best video game of all time wouldn't be a bad thing within itself, but at the same time, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is much more than a sequel. In fact, you could label it as a sequel, but then you'd have to take everything you know about sequels and throw it out the window.
Oh boy, now that brought back some memories. And it was even more exciting since I did get the holographic N64 cart. But enough about me reminiscing about the past, let's get into this review. So the game begins with Link riding on horseback through the Lost Woods. Then all of a sudden 2 fairies just come out of nowhere and just screw up his day. We then discover who these fairies are partnered up with. They're partnered up with the Skull Kid, wearing a really eerie, creepy mask. And then he just steals your ocarina and then steals your horse, and then a whole mess starts happening. Then you get turned into a Deku Scrub, and then you have to go deal with the Happy Mask salesman, who tells you that that little shithead Skull Kid stole his mask and it's going to end the world in 3 days. You know, the moon is going to crash into Termina. So then you are first introduced to Clocktown, a busy little city preparing for a festival, but some are very afraid of that moon that's just staring at them in the face every day of every night of every hour. But you can't do anything as a Deku Scrub really, so the first thing you need to do is figure out how to get out of being a Deku Scrub. I'm not going to spoil it here even though it's a very old game, but you do a whole bunch of side questing, which, yes, this game has tons of side questing, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So then you get the Moon's Tear, and then you go back up to the clock tower on the 3rd day at the strike of midnight and confront Skull Kid. However, you still can't do much as a Deku Scrub, but all you can do is shoot your little bubbles at him, and then he'll drop that ocarina that he keeps playing horribly, and it's painful to my ears. You have a flashback from Zelda teaching you the Song of Time, and then you learn the Song of Time has some real magic here that wasn't really available in Ocarina of Time. You can go backwards in time, back to the beginning of those 3 days. And then the Happy Mask salesman teaches you the Song of Healing, and then therefore you're not a Deku Scrub anymore, but you can turn into it anytime you want with the Deku Scrub mask. But thank God you're back to being a human again. So I guess the best thing to do now is to go off into the world of Termina. And Termina is not like Hyrule, though there are many similar enemies out here, or ones that are exactly the same. However, Deku Scrubs aren't really your enemies anymore, except for those red ones. They're actually your friends now, so it's kind of weird and uncomfortable a little bit. And let's bring it back a sec before I ramble too much, but general the story is, you are on a mission to defeat the 4 bosses in the 4 temples to free the giants that will help stop the moon. So, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask about saving Termina from the moon crashing because Skull Kid's a jerk. And now let's get to the gameplay aspect of things. So if you played Ocarina of Time, there really isn't that much different in terms of gameplay, though there are a lot more items that there are to go around here. So, swords, you get a little bit more options with your swords. So instead of the 3 that you can get in Ocarina of Time, like the Kokiri, the Master Sword, the Big Goron Sword, here you get first you have your Hero Sword, and then you have your Razor Sword, and then you can get the Gilded Sword, and then you can get the Great Fairy Sword. There's a lot of swords to go around here in this game. And that's not even the most important part in terms of all the items and whatnot that you can get here, and weapons technically. So, the game is mostly based around masks, because Majora's Mask, the whole theme, masks and whatnot, you get it. So there are all these different masks that you can do from doing all these different side quests. So basically Majora's Mask more relies so on all the side quests in order for you to adventure around the world than the main storyline, because the main storyline you technically don't need to get every single mask. But if you do, there's a great surprise if you do get all the masks before the end of the game. Though there are too many masks to go through all of them, we'll focus on the top 3 right now. So first off, there's the Deku Mask, which you got from the beginning when you saw that whole business. And then you have the Goron Mask, which makes some child think you're their daddy. And then you have the Zora Mask, which makes people think that you're some famous musician. Well, it ain't easy getting these masks, but I can say it is well worth it. And also, these masks come into huge play during the boss fights. The boss fights in Majora's Mask. Well, technically there's only 4 of them, but I would like to say there are 5 of them, even though those 2 kind of happen around the same area. But whatever. So the boss fights, they're more so you need to use your masks if you really want to get the upper hand on these bosses. Otherwise, if you're just trying to do it just in normal Link mode, at least one of them you're not going to be doing so hot. Overall, the boss fights in Majora's Mask are all really solid, and also you can't just go whacking away thinking that you're going to, do some damage. though most Zelda bosses aren't like that in previous games as well. But this one I felt like, at least going from Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask, these bosses were a little bit tougher because you really had to think about how you're going to go about killing these guys and getting their masks to go stop the moon. So, is this game really that good? Is Majora's Mask stand the test of time, including the N64 version? So, let me back up a little bit. 3DS version came out, and you know what? They did fix some of it, but they also added eyes to the bosses, so, but I'm sorry, I don't have that gameplay footage because I can't record 3DS games. I am sorry. But never mind all that. Let's see here. I'm going to have to lump both the 3DS version and the N64 version together because it is a little too difficult to give each one a separate rating. So, you know what? I'm going to say this. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask gets a 9 out of 10. It is a game that is totally worth your time if you really love those adventure games and you love Zelda games in general. I would say Majora's Mask is a must-play. Probably the best way of playing it right now is the 3DS version. Upgraded graphics, they fixed some of the things, though I'm not so thrilled about what they did with the bosses. But you know what, it didn't really take too much away from the boss fight, so you know what? I'm gonna stick with that 9 out of 10, but I'm still trying to play it before the moon falls. Oh no! Come on, this game is just so freaking hard. It's like every level's the water temple. Ugh. And I do have to say, the Great Bay is way worse than the water temple. Just for the record. The Great Bay is worse than the water temple. I said it right here. Better remember that. Ugh. Gotta get all those masks. Gotta get them all. Gotta get them all. Come on. Can do it. This game. I'm not gonna lose. I can do it.
Open your eyes.